Hey, y'all. You know, I would think that sometimes this, some of the things about being a spiritual worker would get a little bit easier, but have proven to me that for whatever reason, they get increasingly stronger as time goes on. I do the very best I can for customers. On my website, there is formulations, instructions, descriptions. I put detailed descriptions down to the gender, the planetary alignment, and any historical facts, and even what they say is used for herbal remedies, although I'm not an herbal doctor. All of that information is on the website. I really want people, to understand that when you have spiritual work to do, that the initial spiritual work should be done yourself. That's why we're here. That's why spiritual merchants have stores and websites and try to give people the most information possible. But I'm really tired, you all. And I don't know if anybody cares. But what typically happens is I have people who repeatedly come and ask for information, especially in the store, and then never do anything. And then they come back a few months later with the same questions, sometimes more questions. You got to understand that if you feel like you have a spiritual issue, it's going to cost you some money. Everything in this life costs money. There are a lot of people out here who do love and light work and say, I shouldn't charge for my gift. But I'm going to tell y'all, from the very beginning, from when I even started working for my mentors at the Voodoo store, between my regular job and between my work here as a spiritualist, I work 14-hour days. And so I want people to understand what spiritual workers have to do. I get up every day and there is a flood of emails, messages, people coming in and requests that, are often very valid. Everybody, including me, has challenges in life. But you got to understand that if, I told a woman who has been hexed that she had to take a spiritual bath, that she needed to start with a cleansing. And the look on her face when I told her she was going to have to do the work herself. When I have spiritual consultations, and maybe I don't even know if I should raise or lower the price for people to get that, but when I do that divination, I give you a prescription about what you're supposed to do. As a result of me trying to be everybody's mama, auntie, sister, friend, whatever, I don't really get a lot of time to do anything for myself. And so what happens, and I've seen it happen with people in a number of professions, is you get burnt out. You get tired because the level, and I'm talking about, sometimes I'll even talk to priestesses and other traditions, and I'm like, wait a minute, did your tradition not give you what you needed? And of course his phone is ringing, and that's another thing. When you get a landline, you get endless calls from telemarketers and the like, and I'm just going to mute that, and they can go to voicemail and I'll call them back. And when you own a store, it's like, it becomes a place where people come because they just want to feel like part of a community. We have a local boys' home here, and frequently the boys from the home, they come in, they visit, and I talk to them and, try to just give them a good word. But y'all need to understand that this shit's taxing. I'm not just sitting up here making pretty products to push to people that don't work. Okay? And I'm not sure what other types of spiritual workers that you have worked with in the past. Every time we make something, it's made by hand. It's charged already, but you still have to do the work. Even if you hire a spiritual professional for you, okay? There are still things that you are going to have to do mundanely to get you out of whatever shit you've managed to find yourself in. And what I cannot understand is, and I guess it's just Hollywood, the endless amounts of people that come to spiritual workers and want them just to do it all. I'm tired of doing readings for people when they ask me questions that they already know the answer to. In fact, I have stopped readings and said, do you really want to ask me some shit that you already know the answer to? Or do you want some information about how to solve the problem? You know, or they'll be like, I was just looking for confirmation. No, you were just looking for me to tell you some shit that you wanted to hear. And I'm having a day. I'm having a real fucking day. I have challenges just like everybody else. Just because I don't put my business on the street on Facebook doesn't mean that I don't have challenges. And, you know, this is a business. I think that a lot of people expect a lot extra from people who are out here doing this work. Things that they wouldn't even ask their own fucking pastors to do when they were going to church. I don't understand it. But understand that we have a customer group. I posted about it. In that customer group, people will help answer your questions. There's a reading list. Read a goddamn book. A Google search can answer some of the questions that people ask. You know, I don't care what it is. If I have to ask a professional about something, the first thing I'm going to do is do a little research to make sure that I'm not going to be fed bullshit and taken advantage of. I don't care if it's something I need to have. When my air conditioning went out at home, I went immediately on Google and said, you know, air conditioner making beeping noises. They told me exactly what the fuck was wrong with it. So when I called the professionals to have it repaired, I knew what was wrong with it. There is no amount of spiritual work in the world that is going to help you if you are not willing to work on yourself. And part of working on yourself is doing a little bit of fucking research before you bother somebody with questions. There is a formulations and descriptions link and instructions on the website. I tell you how to take a spiritual bath. I tell you how each one of the products is used. And that's another thing. Stop asking spiritual workers how to use something, especially after you've already purchased it. This is how people get caught up. This is how people get cheated. This is how people get taken advantage of. Because you don't do the work. And honestly, when it gets to the point where you got to come in and a spiritual worker has to help you, you usually have to go, in my particular religion, to Haiti to have it taken care of. Thousands of dollars of work. Animals to be sacrificed, rituals to be done. And so I think that a lot of people, for the most part, we could always back up to the point where we fucked up. Back up to that part. If you can undo what you did, undo it. If you can make better decisions next time, make better decisions. Because the reality of the matter is, people always ask me, why do you teach people how to make these products when you can just sell them these products? Because there is no spiritual work greater than the work you do on yourself. That is why. So that even when plenty of my students still buy my products because I taught them. They know I know what I'm doing. So they continue to purchase products from me. I'm not worried about competition. I'm not worried about new businesses. In fact, if you are a skilled conjurer, I welcome people to send me samples so that we could work out consignment agreements to sell them in the store. So far, I think I've gotten like 4. And then when I've indicated to those people that I do want to have their products, I don't have them. You know, the Creator helps those who help themselves. My goal, my mission as a spiritual worker is to help you live your best life. But basics, there's classes for that. There's information for that. There's research for that. And that's the thing. You know, that's right, Mama Beyonce. They want you to do all the spiritual work for them. But that's another thing. On the other fucking end, and my cousin is on here, and I did some work with her, and she did the work with me, and she was very successful. See, when I do spiritual work for someone, which I rarely do because I know that most people aren't going to follow through and do the shit that they're supposed to do. But if I do spiritual work for you, there's going to be some requirements. Folks don't even want to take a goddamn spiritual bath. And I want to know. And I guess it's this. How sick of you are your shit? How sick of you of the shit are you? When do you want to get out of your shit? Because when you want to get out of your shit, you'll do anything you need to do to get out of it. You won't keep asking me questions. You'll read. You'll become determined. You will know for yourself. You will have the knowledge of what you need to do. And sometimes, I'm sorry, with a lot of the folks that I'm dealing with, I can do all the spiritual work in the world, and it's not going to help. Because for whatever reason, human beings are committed to living, sleeping, eating, and dying in their own shit. And I'm not for it. Whenever I have a problem, you all, and it's funny because I have a full thing of whatever magic I could work at my disposal. The first thing I do is I go to my ancestors and my spirits and say, look, I need some help. And usually, because I'm a faithful servant, that's all it takes. Not only do I go to them and I say, I need some help, I also say, please direct me in my steps of what I can do to fix this. Okay? And then when I have done all I can do mundanely, then I have to go to magic. But if your first thought is one of a quick fix when it comes to spiritual work, I got news for you. Not only is it not quick, not only does it take time, and I keep telling people who do root work because it's been so watered down. All of the spiritual aspects of our gods have been removed from it. It lasts as long as the roots last. You can't do a Waymaker candle, get the way open for you, and then think that you are scot-fucking-free because it doesn't work like that. Eventually, that is going to wear off. And then what are you going to do? The difference between true spiritual work and magical work, witchcraft, is spirit. And that requires your devotion. God damn it, I wish you guys would quit messaging me. You hear how many times my fucking computer has dinged in the time that I'm talking to y'all? How can I process orders? How can I help people who really want to get the work done? I'm going to turn Facebook Messenger the fuck off. And I'm going to uninstall it from my phone. Because this is ridiculous. Y'all don't want to solve your problems. You want a quick fucking fix. And even in hoodoo, there is no quick fix. So, yes, I'm gathering edges. I'm snatching fucking wigs today because I'm tired. And when you seriously, I've got several people on here who have come for me to help, who have done the work. They call it work for a motherfucking reason. Don't come to me asking me for love work. Don't come to me asking about some man that you want to put a spell on. You got to put a spell on somebody to make them love you. Run. Run, motherfucker, run. How about you get your life right? I don't judge people. But if you come to me with an issue and I look at this issue and I'm thinking, this person, what the fuck? What are they doing? What are you even thinking about? And why would you, as a grown-ass person, lack the meter of embarrassment to come and talk and ask anybody a question about some of the bullshit y'all on? I wish I had your problems. In fact, everybody wishes they had somebody else's problems because they don't want theirs. But I'm serious. Anybody, you will know if you buy something from me, it was put together with thought, care. It was put together with the doctrine of signatures. It was put together with the power that the spirits have bestowed upon me as a root worker. The rest of that shit is up to you. You buy it, you use it, and you make the mundane decisions. You ask for clarity. You know, I'm not a Christian anymore, but, you know, Solomon, who was also a masterful magician before his conversion to Yahweh, and he probably continued afterwards, he asked for wisdom. He didn't ask for a quick fix. He didn't ask for all the riches in the world, because when you have wisdom, you have everything. Everything you fucking need in your back pocket when you have wisdom. Get you some wisdom. There are times where I have to reschedule classes because one person shows up. One person. And they're always nice, and I always give them a little discount off the next thing or whatever. Empty spaces. My classes hold 98 fucking people. And I will think that at the most I've ever had maybe been about 10 or 15. You want to know about this work? Study it. You want to do this work? Do it. But very few, very few spell work consultations I will take, because I understand that people don't want to face their own demons. They don't want to do what the fuck they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it, and that's why they're in the problems that they are in the first place. But one thing that I'm going to exact is balance in my life. So if you leave me a Facebook message and you don't get a response from me, it's because I'm not willing to take the time to answer that question. Because that is a question that you could have gotten from a Google search. Or I'm going to put up, let me Google that for you. Because some of this stuff is just fucking ridiculous. And I, like everybody else, has to have boundaries. And my boundaries is I manage my time. I'm looking at what am I doing in this particular part of my day or evening, because I have a day job. So most of the time, my stuff for the store gets done at night. And I'm getting home at 10, 11. I've been in the store to 2 o'clock in the morning. And I don't really have time to answer questions for people that don't want to seek information for themselves. I'm tired. And, you know, I got a 3-year lease on this store. So I have 3 years to determine whether or not I am going to continue to give myself to people who won't even give to them their own selves. And if that doesn't change, I'm not going to do it. Because there are things that I need to achieve spiritually in my life that I cannot afford to let get in the way by, you know, basically throwing advice down the toilet, because that's where it's going. You know, if I've spoke to you, if I've done a divination for you, and I told you there were things that you needed to do in order to change your circumstance, and I've even given you mundane tools, another telemarketer, they never leave a message. And I've given you the tools, and then you come back to me later and it's not done, I'm not going to reply. I have a really good memory and a customer database. There's no way I can help you if I've offered help, you've paid for help through divinations. Let's stop doing work without divination. We've talked about this. You're going to fuck around and make your situation worse. And the phone won't stop ringing. So I'm going to let you guys go. Goodbye.